Hey everyone, welcome back to What's on My Workbench. Today is going to be kind of like a potpourri of different things I'm working on right now. I have two orders in-house right now for mod work. Waiting on parts right now for one of them, which actually has three parts to it. One of them is this nice Soundblaster creative Soundblaster board back from 88 ISA 8-bit. You can tell because it's a shorter 16-bit or longer like that. Back from the old days when you had to set the DMA channel on here. This is set to 210 right now. What's frustrating right now is this pot here. I'm having a hard time finding a replacement for it. It's an audio taper pot. I did get some off of eBay. They're a little bit larger, but I'll see if I can adapt it. But we'll see. Other than that, I've already ordered the replacement capacitors here. You notice these are kind of a light blue color. These generally mean they're audio quality capacitors. There's different qualities of capacitors out there. If you search specifically for audio quality, they're designed for audio circuits like this. So I know the pot's a little dirty. I'm going to have to open it up, clean it out a little bit if I can't replace it. And then the caps, of course, are going to help. And I bought the really good quality capacitors that'll last a long time. So that's not too thrilling there. That's that one. The more interesting one. I'm wearing a static strap this time. I don't want to accidentally blow any of this stuff up. I like the static straps with monitoring circuits, so if I break my connection to the ground, it actually beeps at me. So this is an interesting one here. This is from an Amstrad Mega PC. The other name for the Sega Genesis outside the United States is the Mega Drive. Amstrad is apparently a computer company based in the UK, and this was a special ISA card which allowed for it was kind of neat. You had this front cover that would, if it was slid off to the left, it would cover up the Sega Genesis port or the Master Drive port, Mega Drive port. You slid it to the right, it would expose that and turn off the computer side. So it's really kind of cool that how it works. So looking at this, this is actually a little daughter card that sits up front, locks on like this. So this sticks into your, it's kind of cool, whoops, sticks in the riser for it would come up here for your ISA slots, and then this was on the front. And this here is just a little micro switch that would pick up the door coming past it. So if the door is sitting here, it knows, nope, don't use this. You slid the door back, it would. You look here, this is your standard Sega Genesis Mega Drive slot. So the cartridge would come in horizontally like this. It would hang out horizontally about yay far. So that's kind of cool. And it's neat because it's basically just a Sega Genesis. This particular one was modified already for VGA out. Apparently they need a really odd 15 kilohertz monitor that the Amstrad had. This is kind of cool because this is actually a complete Sega Genesis, and you can tell because this is your custom video processing chip here. This is your Motorola 68,000 chip. This is your Zilog Z80 or Z80 if you're British CPU. What they did was this is actually, they used the Z80 from the Master System to be the sound control system for the Genesis, which also allowed for backwards compatibility because you basically had an entire Sega Genesis, Sega Master System on here on the Z80. You can get your RAM chips over here. And but this is the 68,000 custom video processor, and a Z80. So that's a Sega Genesis, along with the RAM and other amplifier circuits on here. So what's I'm gonna end up doing is there's a procedure to improve the audio output quality. So I'm gonna have to go back through here and jumper some of these resistors and caps, pull some out, add some new ones. So that's going to be a fun one. Pull this back off the front. And you can see it's just like a Sega Genesis. You've got your power switch, volume slider, reset switch. So all the controls of the Sega Genesis. Kind of neat, actually. So put that back. I already ordered the parts for this one. They're all, I've found the correct surface mount size. This is the 1206 size parts, which are common for older boards. Put this back. And personal project I've been working on is this. This is kind of like my own take on the Nintendo Switch. It's got a 7-inch diagonal screen. It is a touchscreen, arcade style controller, speakers, Raspberry Pi. The bottom half, this is going to have a lithium polymer power pack, and 4-port USB will be coming out of it. And also I'm going to have an HDMI splitter, so you'll be able to play simultaneously on this screen and an external HDMI. So I'm working on that. And then in the mail came, I've never actually seen one of these in person before. We have an Atari Jaguar, the first 64-bit console. Now I didn't realize was Jaguar. It's interesting. You know, look where it's made. That's right. It's made in the USA. It's actually an American-made video game console. I didn't even know they still made this stuff in the US. This is from '93, I think. So it was actually made in the US. Maybe it's discontinued in '93. So apparently this one isn't turning on. And they also sent in the CD-ROM. Which is also not turning on. I already checked out the power supply. This is actually a neat looking system. Remember a couple years back, somebody, I think his name is Mike Kennedy, was trying to sell this retro video game system. He must have bought the mold for the Jaguar. The poor Jaguar, for years, this mold was being used for dental cleaning equipment, I think. So it actually set up like this. They even kept the cartridge, so it something sat like that on it. It's kind of funny. But I've never actually seen a Jaguar in person. It's got a real Lynx feel to it. Lynx 2 feel to it. Nice solid power. I think it was kind of cool is how they designed this. So this just slams on top of there. You can still put your cartridge in. That's actually really cool. Huh. I've never owned one of these. Hopefully I can get it to work. That would be nice. So I'll have to go in and figure out what's going on. I already checked out the power supplies. They're both well regulated, and they not much noise in the supplies either. So it's not that. So I'll be opening this up on the next What's on My Workbench. But that's the variety hour we have right now. So I'm going to ask first the person who sent it to me if I'm okay to show these videos, opening it up. Most people are, but I like to ask. Till then, talk to you later.